Hello, people of the internet. A-Link here, and today we're gonna discuss again of what makes the perfect game. Well, to start it off, I'll just say, to me, the perfect game would be something that everybody will enjoy, and like not a single person has anything bad to say about it. I know that sounds kind of impossible, but you know that one game nobody can talk smack about at all.
Unlike,
and get away
basically,
with it.
if you want to describe it very blatantly, it's the opposite of Sonic 06.
But I like Sonic 06.
Well, shut up. So to me, what makes a perfect game would have to be something that has a good story. Because yes, I actually do play games for story. Oh my gosh.
Or Tunagora.
Uh, it has to have good gameplay, and I don't want it to be slow or too fast. And it also has to have good controls and at least decent graphics. Like it can be at least Wii graphics, but I don't want it to be like a Link's video quality
But
graphics.
Bryce, they already have your perfect game. It's called Psychonauts.
No, my favorite game is Mode 3. But um Tedegar, what would make your perfect game?
Be Wind Waker, and it is a perfect game. That
Tedegar,
that
what
is
would
how
make your
you that is
perfect
how you are the perfect game. Is just if you are Wind Waker, just be Wind Waker.
But Wind Waker sucks.
you just ticked off Tedegar.
I'll give you reasons why in another video, but let's just go on to Joe. Joe, what makes a perfect game for you?
For me, I have to agree with Bryce. Like story and definitely how the story is told. Because okay, don't be fucking sending Skype messages because that's going to be popping up on my fucking recording. But like definitely storytelling and definitely with the pacing of the story and also like the gameplay and what you're doing and also if that what you're doing carries any real importance like at all or if you can feel like you're being important. And as for graphics, really, I don't mind any form of graphics. It's mostly style is what I'm looking for. Like just
If the
if it
style
has
matches the
style, it
game,
could be like Bryce said, like it could be Wii graphics, but at the same time, it could still have like an interesting style. And just like I guess Psychonauts, pretty much.
But Joe, that
What?
game was already made. It's called Heavy Rain.
hey, hey Link. So can I say something that makes the perfect game that isn't Wind Waker?
All right, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I think that one of the most important things is a feeling of character development and growth. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm doing the same thing with the same character all the
Uh
But
time.
huh.
Like, take The Legend of Zelda, for example. You're constantly getting new items and these new things and heart containers or whatever, so you're constantly growing in strength, and something that might be a large challenge early game eventually will be able to conquer easily. And that's one thing that I definitely like in a game. And also,
but
like Bryce and everyone else said, story is important, although gameplay is also extremely important.
Indeed.
Like Superman is awesome, like the comics and all that, but the gameplay in the game was terrible.
but Tunagara, your continuation of getting stronger was already made. It's called Shadow of the Colossus.
Well, I've never played that game. It's on my list of games to play though, so I might
Play it.
like play. Yeah,
And
that's what
when
Play
I
it.
say
I'm doing.
story, I don't mean like a really like big complex story. Like it could be something
Final
just very
Fantasy.
yeah, it could be Final Fantasy. Well, yeah, that complex pretty much. And it can be simple. It can be easy to follow, but I agree with I believe like a Link made the point or Tanagar made the point that gameplay stands up above all anything else.
Well, like you said, the story doesn't need to be too
Mhm.
complex. No, I don't think it should be too simple either. Like it can be simple, but I also don't want it to be like one of those shows where it's basically the same thing every
Yeah.
episode. I don't want it to be too complex to where it's like
Uh-huh.
Inception. That would be that's just a very bad con for a game.
but
And don't get a good rating from IGN.
Oh.
That's another
Oh
big con.
no. I got a bad rating on IGN. I'll just end my life now. Oh.
Oh my god, IGN gave my favorite game of all time an 8.5. It deserves a 10. Oh my god. Oh my god. But as Bryce was saying, like story is important, but at the same time, like don't make it like Kingdom Hearts where you have to buy a new console like every game just to follow the story. That's too cryptic
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. Like
Like, continue.
basically just to I would mind it just like a standalone game and the story is just that one game from beginning to end. That's all the story you get. If there's a sequel, it should be like Eco and Shadow of the Colossus where they're not really uh tied together, but they're kind of like in the same universe. So
Mm-hmm.
that way you won't get like screwed over and buying a new game just to follow the
Kind of like
story.
Zelda.
Kind of
Like
like Zelda, where
like a
How it's
everything's
spiritual
new.
like
Everything's
Zelda's
successor.
the same universe.
yeah.
Like Zelda's always takes place in the same universe, and the timeline like continues. So like one thing that maybe in this game maybe talked about or maybe a major plot point for an existence of something in a later game in the series, like they're all tied together pretty nicely, although there's always not like the same Link doing the same thing all the time. Usually it's a separate Link and a separate Zelda and a separate like hero. It's a separate story, only it's tied together in the same universe with other games in the series, which I like.
And for some reason, all the links always have the same name.
Link.
Unless you name him like Poop or
Yee.
like Dick Butt or something.
Excuse
Oh,
me, Poop,
well-
but you're the hero of time now.
Curse you, poop! Ah!
That's what makes the game good. Being able to name your character is also a cool thing, but you don't have to be able to do that. 'Cause
Dick
that,
Butt the hero of time.
like in Pokemon, where you get to name a bunch of stuff, like you get to name everything you catch, you get to name yourself and your rival. Like, like your rival may pick the opposite starter that has a type advantage, but you get to be the one who names him.
Oh, but
So-
to having like too much power over something, like naming every single thing in the game, also can't be like too good, cause like you're having too much customization. Just look at my Sims.
what's also good in the game is variety. Like as Tanagora said, the progression, like getting stronger as the game goes on, but it has to have a variety of weapons like Zelda, and as basically I'm making the same point as Tanagara, just using a different word. Probably, yeah.
I think another strong point that really helps make a perfect game is music.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
music. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It needs to fit. Like you can't be playing Call of Duty and have like an orchestrated like symphony orchestra
Mhm.
playing this beautiful piece. Like no,
Or-
you can't do that. It needs to fit. Like the same thing with the style that Joe was talking about earlier. He was saying that the graphics don't matter as long as the style fits whatever the gameplay and the story kind of puts out to you. And the music has to fit as well. Like I can't be
But-
playing say for instance Shadow of the Colossus. I don't think that would work with like a hardcore rock thing.
Let's play some Slayer in
wouldn't
the
work.
background.
Oh well, like take this.
Except for J-pop. J-pop and J-pop goes with every game ever.
Guile's theme. Guile's
Well-
theme.
Yes, Guile's
Oh well, what makes what makes Sonic my favorite game series of all time? That every game has amazing music.
Even the bad
that goes
ones.
with it.
Even the bad games
Yeah,
have
like-
music.
Like I will
His
Sonic
one
R.
from Sonic 06.
Sonic 06
Well,
has
Sonic R
great
has
music.
it
Great
has
music.
Supersonic
I
Racing.
love the music
Can
in
you
Sonic
feel
R.
the
Super
sunshine?
Yeah, shining on your face.
Crush 40, just Crush 40. That's all I
Crush
have to
for-
say
Crush
about Sonic
40.
music.
Yes.
Yeah, but still, like they make awesome songs that go with Sonic games. Like I was playing City Escape earlier on Sonic Generations, and I could not help singing along with it.
Speaking of Sonic Generations and things that are close to or close to City Escape, Speed
Oh,
Highway
be
Act
quiet.
2. I'm number like 100 in the world, and my uncle's number 1
Whoa,
currently for
whoa,
Speed
watch
Highway
out.
Act 1.
We have a badass
That
over
is,
here.
hey, that's off topic.
Yeah,
Tanaka.
that
I
is.
know, but
that
you,
makes the
you
perfect
were
game.
off topic, so I decided to go off topic.
I was staying on the
Leaderboards.
topic of music.
Although the music in
No.
Speed Highway is pretty good. Like I memorized all of it because I've played probably a good 30 hours on that stage.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say Sonic series has amazing music,
So
along
does
with the
Zelda and Pokemon.
and Xenoblade.
Shadow
And Child of
Colossus.
You know,
Colossus. Yes.
Well, I can't really think of anything
I
else.
can think of something. I actually thought of this like a long time ago. What could be like the perfect game of all time? Like it's not so much a game, so much as it's like a game so big that it's like a game console just to play it, like an entire console just dedicated to one game. And I know
you
that
mean
might.
like those little like football games that you get where you get to like move in three places and like press one little button like that big of a game.
Yeah, 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 but
One
but
console
but
just dedicated to
but
it.
this is actually like an Xbox, like imagine an Xbox console, but it's actually like it's
For one
like
game. It
yeah,
only
it's
plays one
just
game.
yeah, it's just one game, and it's because it's so big and there's like so much things you can do there. Like the perfect game is something that will never end no matter what. Well,
What
except
you're
the
saying is make World of Warcraft for the Xbox 360, only make it bigger and include more things.
except World of Warcraft gets boring over a while.
Oh,
Yeah, although
I just thought
a
of
lot of
a
stuff.
good point. Joe, I believe he mentioned this earlier. He said that with the storyline, you kind of want to feel important. I think that was
Mm-hmm.
Joe. Like for a game to be like for the perfect game, everyone wants to be the hero. Like almost everyone wants to be the hero. If you could put yourself inside the game, that would be amazing.
Cus
Like say if I was playing Sonic Generations and I saw myself running inside of it, like animated like Sonic, I would cry tears of joy.
Yeah,
customization.
because like I think one of the most important things about games, period, not just the perfect game, but any game overall, is that part of the reason that people play video games is just so they can feel like they're in the story and they are the hero and kind of project themselves onto the personality of whoever they're playing as. So it feels like they're for once the hero. If they don't really do anything, then like take Zelda for instance. You can name your character
Mm-hmm.
Link. I usually just name him Link because that's what I like to do. But you can name your character and he never talks, so you can kind of project whatever you're feeling onto
Mm-hmm.
him. So
Yeah,
And
let's
it
say if you have a
like
fits.
certain emotion or feeling towards something that happens in game, maybe Zelda gets captured as she always does, and it's a certain situation, you can feel a certain way and you can project that onto Link, your character, so the hero feels the same way. So you are truly the hero, and that is one feeling that everyone plays a game for, in my opinion, is they want to be the hero.
Oh,
yeah, like like a lot of games they have silent protagonists like Link and classic Sonic. Let's go with
And
that because I couldn't
also
think of one.
Claude from
But
Grand Theft Auto 3.
yes, Claude.
but yeah, the silent protagonist really lets you do exactly what Tenegar said.
Oh, excuse
Yeah.
me. Zelda got captured again. Excuse me while I stop caring and just play for the gameplay.
uh, true,
But
true.
as I was saying, like a game that would be big, but it'll never end and stuff. But I know there's gonna be complaints such as, "Oh my God, the game's so big, I can't get to this one part 'cause I have to do this first. Oh my God." But like you can get around that. Like you don't have to go specifically through one thing, like just to progress the story. You can basically just go straight to the point you want to go, and it's kind of like a sandbox game, but at the same time, it's like you have to kind of follow a certain rule or pattern to get someplace, and like it's like a Grand Theft Auto where you don't exactly have to play the story, and you can just do like little side things. Also, like a
So basic, so basically, the game it's like there's optional side quests that you can do to help you progress the story, but you don't have to do them, and you can just go straight through to the story.
yeah, basically like that. Like the Elder Scrolls, there's like so many side quests, but these will actually matter instead of just, oh yeah, you got a free experience, good job. You
I
just
think
waste.
I think
You think?
What do you think?
As you can continue, although actually I was going to say that what I think is that two things that go hand in hand when it comes to games are price and amount of content, which means that let's say I pay $60 for a game, I don't want it to last for like 2-3 hours. What
Mm-hmm.
I like is
Call of
if I
Duty.
could buy a game for maybe like $20 and then have like a ton of content, which is that's why people want to buy it. And while I would say let's make like a totally another discussion video about used games, it wouldn't really be too much to talk about, so I'll just start discussing about it now, like a little bit. Although what I think is great is the concept of used games, where if someone doesn't like a game, they can put it back pretty much,
Oh
get a
yeah.
little bit of money back, and then what people can do is they can buy it for a cheaper price. Let's say maybe 10, 15, $20 off the normal price, maybe even up to 30 or 40. And what's really good about that is that people can, because if there's a lot of content, which would normally a $60 game, then you're getting a ton of content for a really really cheap price. Or if the game isn't really that long, then you're pretty much still getting your money's worth because you didn't pay $60 for like maybe a day game, but you paid $20 for like a day's worth of game. And then replay value is also really important. Like one game that has replay value to the max, in my opinion, is Rhythm Heaven for the DS, because I have literally played hundreds and hundreds of hours on that game of just playing it and playing it and playing it because it never ever gets old for me. So replay value, content, and price is some of the most important things.
Yeah, those are definitely three major contributing factors
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
to
but
good
uh,
games.
the the quality and price, like we all know like the Xbox Live, like the indie games and stuff, like
Oh, those are good.
yeah,
Super Meat Boy.
like the I actually respect the people that make those indie games, even the people that make the indie games, because they're like actually putting work into that, unless they're just like doing crap or something, and then but you still pay like $2 or $3 for it, and you'll still get at least like an hour or so of like fun through there. Like DLC quest, that's only like $2, and I still played it so much because like really fun.
There's one game on Xbox Live. It's an indie game. I forget the exact name of it, but it's something really weird. It's like Ruby something. I forget the name of it. I'll tell you guys what it is later, so you can play it if you want, because it's $1 80 Microsoft points on Xbox Live in the indie game section, and it is so fun, and it feels like it is literally just a throwback to the NES. Like it feels like for $1 you just bought an NES game with hilarious comedy, awesome action, good gameplay mechanics, and a lot of content. It's just $1, and that just amazed me.
I feel like
S-
the game that would be more accepted overall, like how you guys were first saying at the beginning of the video, like a game that just everyone would like, or at least mutually say, yeah, that's a good game. It would probably be a comedy. It would have some
I mean,
comedic
it would.
like humor to it of some sort.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Well, I think that like it has to have all the different types of genres kind of mixed in. Like I don't really consider comedy games a genre, but
Mhm.
so like it has to have like action comedy. It has some sad parts like I cannot think. Oh, Mother 3, like whenever
oh yeah.
Lucas's mom dies, Hinawa dies, and that part's like really sad.
Uh
So,
huh.
and then there's still a bunch of funny parts, and then the action is really good. That's why I Mother 3 is my favorite
So
game.
basically the
It's
opposite of
actually
Grand Theft
probably
Auto 4.
Yes.
I love Mother 3. I think it actually might be better than Wind Waker, possibly, and that's really saying something on my part because I just love Mother 3 and I love Wind Waker to pieces, but Mother 3 is just so good because I feel like it has really good comedy, really awesome music, really lovable, good, like well developed characters like Duster, for instance, who was like one of the best characters ever in my opinion. And then they have, characters like Lucas and Klaus and Flint, and it's like all these people that, let's say if one of them would die, you would just be like, oh yeah, my character died, I don't really care. But you'd actually feel like emotion for them and think, oh well, this major person just kind of died off, and it would actually like leave an imprint on you. So you actually like or you learn to care for these people because the game is just so good and the story is so good and the music's good and the comedy's good and the gameplay is top notch. One of the best RPGs gameplay wise that I've played ever, and it's just an amazing game in my opinion.
But would everyone play a turn-based RPG?
No,
I kind of find
that's one
those
thing that I don't
boring.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people would be like, "Oh no, I'd rather play like Call of Duty and shoot people and
No, well,
flex my trigger finger."
what I really hate, the reason I don't like Call of Duty all too much is because like it's basically the same thing with new weapons. They have some stats, the graphics get better every game, but then like you go from Modern Warfare 2 to Black Ops, so that kind of lowered the thing. Like, yeah, although I do like Black Ops over the Modern Warfare series because of the zombies thing. That's about all I like from Call of Duty because of the concept of just constantly going through the rounds. You get more weapons and being able to upgrade them,
It's
and
simple.
then more zombies.
It's really
Yeah.
simple, and I feel like the story, like, yeah, playing Call of Duty for the story, like, I felt
I do.
the it wasn't so much about the story itself. The story kinda like seemed to fit around to what would like modernly happen, like Russia attacking USA, but it was what mostly got me really was the storytelling. It was mostly told through the loading screens or through the radio. It wasn't a whole lot that you got to see. You really had to listen, and then at times you got to see like some people, but if you weren't listening then you won't know who they are, and then you wouldn't know what importance that shooting them or not shooting them or the fact that they have you captive has. Like, I just feel like the
Uh,
storytelling wasn't perfected, but then again, it's a fucking first person shooter.
oh, well,
You know what else is important?
huh.
Why?
When, let's say I'm playing a game and I just want to like speed through it because I just want to finish the game, get to the final boss. My cat just opened my door, by the way. But I get to the final boss and just finish the game as quickly as possible. What annoys me is if I miss something because I'm like kind of skipping through something and it'll have a major importance and then I can't go back to actually get it again. Like for instance, Super Paper Mario, I was playing it and I ate a chocolate. I got a chocolate bar, but I ate it. So then when I went to space and I needed a chocolate bar for the key, I just quit the game because I got so mad and I couldn't figure out where to get the chocolate bar again.
But it's also
I like, yeah.
it's also like
I was gonna
it's
say.
also like oh no, you say it, you say it.
No, I was gonna say you were saying something, but then you started talking, so I
Ah,
stopped.
well, I was just mostly gonna say like it's not storytelling is good, but it's just like how you tell it. Like how Joe said in Call of Duty, it's mostly through loading screens. And like the first time I played through Modern Warfare 3, and when I first saw the Eiffel Tower go down, I was like, why is it going down? What happened? What did I do?
Yeah.
And like, and it's like Half-Life. I don't really like it that much, but the story is actually told in an interesting way. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's told through. It's not told through cutscenes. It's told
In
through like
game
yeah, in game in real time.
with like
But at
characters that you know.
yeah, but at the same time, that's kind of troubling considering like there's some players who just want to like play for the gameplay, but
Mm-hmm.
the story it just depends on like who's playing it. Cause if I was
Yeah.
playing a story about like tragedy, like people dying, I guess I would feel sad. I just need like good characters to go with it. But if there's just good characters with like no there's just pretty much a cliche story, then I'll be like, should I just play for the game or should I just play because the characters are good but the story is cliche? Even though it's happening in real time, what should I do? Should I just go get water or keep listening to the characters?
Mm-hmm. And that's where it comes into like having a story like too complex where that needs to be talking, because like all stories don't need like dialogue. Like Limbo.
Yeah.
There's very
Limbo is
little
a great
story
game.
to the game, but is there is something happening like before you, like you are like wandering through somewhere, and at first it's very intriguing, and that's what like hooks you in, and like well that's what hooked me into Limbo. It was like a mystery, and it was a puzzle game, so it really worked really well with me like wondering and trying to like piece together what happened, and then with it being so like somewhat like with the story not being able to touch it it was very simple, but it felt like so much more, and it was impactful too, especially at the end. And so, like,
Uh,
a good
Yeah,
story doesn't need to be complex. And also, if, like, for the perfect game, like, the holy grail of all games, like, the story, I guess, really, to, for the people that just want to play through the gameplay, it doesn't really need dialogue or whatever. I don't know.
yeah. Like, honestly, Limbo, it tells the story without any dialogue at all.
Hmm.
You play through the game and you can kind of tell what happens.
And there's an air of mystery throughout it, but it fits the style of the game.
Yeah,
but I think atmosphere also plays a big part in telling a story.
Definitely.
Like, take Heavy Rain. The game is like in the background. All there is like heavy rain because that's kind of part of the title. There's
Hmm.
like the rain drizzling down, and when there's like a depressing part, like when a character is about to die, and you're like, oh my god, what I do, and then there's a little bit of story, well, there's a lot of storytelling, and you're just listening. You're like just like drawn in, like the rain in the background, the character about to die, and you're like, and you have a
Soap opera.
and you have like a choice. You have like a choice coming up, and then a character tells a joke, so it won't be a soap opera, and then you're just like, oh my god, what? I don't even know how to feel anymore because everything's like so intense. Like the atmosphere is like getting to me already, and like in Limbo too, it's like mysterious. Like you don't know what's going on. There's little to no story at all. You're just wandering around, as Bryce said. There's like you have no idea what's going on, and there's like even the developers don't even tell you anything, like anything of the story besides you're a boy, go save your sister. And that's
yeah,
just
Hmm.
like draws you into there.
yeah. It does. But what's also what I really like about certain games with their stories, they give you options. Like you can choose what you're gonna do next, and that will affect the entire storyline. I,
Except the ending of Mass Effect 3.
Oh yeah, DLC pisses me off.
seriously, like some games, they have completely different stories depending on what you do. Uh, let me think of
and
an
and
Heavy
also
example.
Rain.
real quick while you're remembering that can also, like, different endings can tie into replay value.
Mass Effect 3.
Yeah. Like, also, what I like to do with games that have a good story, I'll play through them just for the story, and just play the game to beat it, listen to the story, and then I'll go back and try to find everything else that I didn't need, like say side quests and stuff.
Hmm.
That way can just I'll get an understanding of it. I know what's going on at that certain time, and I can know where to go and look for items on my way. So yeah,
But I think there's a problem with too many like multiple endings or just in general just like having an ending, because like take Dead Rising for example. I You have to save survivors while you're like getting your scoop, and I was playing that earlier, and I was thinking I have to save these survivors, but if I don't, what do I get? Just like an extra 5 seconds of ending. And I'm not gonna use Mass Effect 3 anymore because that's already overused. But everything has to have like an actual meaning to it. Like
Hmm.
you just don't do it just because the
Spur of the
the
moment,
developers
or
tell
like,
you to. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like there
or
has
like
to be a
on a
reason.
whim.
Like yeah, but at the same time, you're like, if I don't do this, what'll happen? I'll just lose like like a few experience points or something. I won't lose much.
well, there's also some games where their choices. If you choose something, you get one thing. If you choose the other option, you get something else, and it can either make you stronger or it can progress with the story. Like Chrono Trigger, you can choose to either kill what's his face, the evil
Magus
wizard.
or whatever, Magus.
Magus, yes, Magus. You can choose to kill Magus, or you can choose to let him live and join your party. So either you get a really strong new member, or you just get to go on with the members you have.
Or you could also leave Chrono dead or not revive him. I don't know if you can actually
I think
choose
that you
to
have to
play
revive him.
after
But
him.
but that's like
I
a
thought
I
that was a
think you
choice.
have to.
that's like a huge problem with choices too. Like it like there's always like the cliche, you either have a good choice, or you have a bad choice, you have a neutral
Yes.
choice. Like if you have a good and evil choice, the evil choice will be like, oh, you do this, but you gain like $10,000. But if you do the good choice, you'll do this, but you gain a kingdom. What will you choose, the kingdom or the money? Well,
Kingdom.
obviously you would choose the kingdom because that's much better. That's like there's no balance between the good and evil.
I think that what should happen is it shouldn't be like, okay, this is bad, this is good, now choose one. It should be like, okay, this choice will lead you down this path, this choice will lead you down this path.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't any really like they are different from each other, but they're not like one is the better one, one is
Yeah,
the worst one. They're
one's
just
not
totally
black, one's
different.
not white. There's a middle area. They're both
I'm
gray.
brown. You're going to the
They're
A-Link.
both
It,
correct.
You're doing the A-Link area.
You're in the A-Link zone.
well,
Do 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 do
but
do.
still, like, but Chrono Trigger, like those choices. If you choose to get Magus, that kind of helps you, but you already have strong characters from throughout the game, so it doesn't really matter. That's really not a good or evil black and white choice, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So if you choose to kill Magus, you already have strong characters, and it'll still be easy because you're going to get Chrono back. If you choose to get Magus, you're going to have a strong character, and that's going to help you a bit. But it's not going to make it to where you can just like uber defeat all the enemies in one move.
so either way, you don't really care if you let him live or die, cause you're probably just gonna throw him away anyway.
But yeah, some people choose it just to see what happens if you do let him live,
Like
or
12
what
endings.
happens. Yeah, like basically, if you let him live, something different's gonna happen. If you let him die, something is gonna change in the storyline, but ultimately it's the same. Like in Chrono Trigger, there's a bunch of different endings,
Mm-hmm.
so it really the some of them you don't really have to change what you do in the story. You just go back to a certain point and do something else after you beat it. I think, and that just changes and gives you a completely different ending.
I
Or it's the same ending where you beat cough cough spoilers Lavos, but something different happens
I think
every
I
time.
think the problem with endings is the satisfaction you get of when you beat the game. Like I said earlier, the game shouldn't end because if it does end, then like you have no prediction of whether you're gonna feel good about actually beating the game or if you're gonna feel like, oh my god, I just wasted my life because of this. Cough cough, Mass Effect 3. But like as Bryce said, there's different endings in Chrono Trigger, but at the same time, there's different endings and like I guess like
Silent
take
Hill,
yeah, like Silent Hill. There's a
like where
bunch of
there's
endings, but
bad endings
yeah, but there
compared to
shouldn't
like good
be a
endings.
bad. But there shouldn't be a bad ending at
Uh
all
huh.
because if there is a bad ending, you're gonna be like, I just I went through the entire game. I did like one or two mistakes, there's like the thank you for playing the game. You missed something. You got screwed over. Thank you. Play the game
Yeah.
again.
Uh huh.
but what's really like some games they like the really good games like they'll end and you'll be all sad or mad that it's over. But then there's also sequels that can come along. Like instead of just having one ultimate perfect game that never ends, how about you end it off at one point and then give them something new and refreshing?
Hey guys, let's end the game right now so you can come back later in like 5 years and pay an extra $60 for our company. Do that, and we'll have the same game all over again except with new weapons.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, say there's a major plot point in a game, and that's where it ends off. A sequel comes along, and that kind of shows what happens after that major plot point.
Think about it like a movie. Like, take a movie that had a sequel, like, I don't know. What movie had a sequel? Or,
Star Wars
yeah, Star
Episode.
Wars. Take, like, it's the only movie that had a sequel ever, dude. Although, Star Wars. Take Star Wars. Star Wars, the first one, and the first one that came out, it was a movie, and then the second one wasn't like a total just the same thing, only like with a green coloring where this blue used to be. What it was a totally full-blown sequel where instead of just redoing what was already done, it just continued and just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Bryce and I are saying what you need to do with that quote unquote never ending game is at a certain point you kind of have to end it off and then just let it continue and move on further, only in a different installment.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like it doesn't have to be necessarily the perfect game. It could be the perfect game series.
but
Cough Zelda, cough Zelda.
take Shroud of the Colossus for example. Like, I didn't see the ending yet, but what Joe told me so far of like the little hints throughout our verses. I could get like the ending is kind of mysterious in certain ways. Like it just leaves you to your own imagination, I guess. But in in uh in Mother 3, the ending to that, it's like what happened to the end. The world ended, but what happens next? Like, and there's not gonna be a sequel after that. Like, it's
So
not gonna happen.
Yeah, I wish there was a sequel, but unfortunately, I know there's not going to be a Mother 4.
there actually is a fan-made Mother
Well, yeah,
4 project still being made, although I think it's like the same thing from the jump from the three different Mother games. It's not like the same
yeah,
characters,
yeah,
same things,
yeah.
same universe,
It,
only like much later. Although
it,
what I was going to say was that Mother 3, the ending is my least favorite part of it.
Because it ends.
yeah.
And because the world ends, and I don't want that. I want the satisfaction of like, oh yeah, we won, and all the things that we tried to solve and fight are now the battle is won. We did it, and the world is saved because of us,
Yeah,
the
I was
hero.
kind of hoping that, like, oh, the world's saved, everything's back to normal. You see Klaus, or not, well, I'm not necessarily sure about Klaus because he's kind of going to die, or is dead. But
Mm.
Lucas, Flint, oh, did I just screw it up?
You're editing that out a link, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Please edit that out,
well,
please.
it's just like those three people living together happily. I'm not going to spoil it for Joe, but um, let's just like those three people are living happily with the rest of the other peoples, and that's more of an ending that I would like instead of world end. But then Joe didn't hear anything. Um, even though Tenegar already said it about three
I
times,
said it.
and the
I'm,
link
I'm
said
only
it,
paying
but
attention to Bryce.
that's because I'm the smart one in this group.
Yeah,
But
sure, sure.
but but yeah, that's the type of ending I would rather see instead of the blank ending and it's all mysterious.
A more definite ending.
Yeah,
Something
So I
that can
but
just
it,
really wrap up the entire game experience, and so you don't really have to take anything back and like just keep on wondering. Really,
uh,
yeah, that's what Mother 3 ended like. It left you wondering. Like you can make up your own ending, make up like, oh, this definitely happened after at the end.
bad fan
Like, couldn't you tell by the dialogue?
bad fan fiction galore.
Oh God.
I see. I think that now that we've talked about all the parts that would make the quote unquote perfect game, and now we're at the end, like talking about the end, I think it might actually be a good time to end this
all
video
right,
Yeah,
wait.
but
because we
I just
covered
really
all
wanted to
the
say,
things.
like, I think the game that would be the perfect game would be a game like Uno or like Apples to Apples or something like that. Something that
okay,
it's like
okay,
with
you're
multiple
trolling.
people. No, 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 no. Like how many people do you know that say like, "Oh, I hate Apples to Apples"? It's like the
I
only
never
real
played
Oh,
it.
problem with
me.
Apples to Apples, I think, is that it gets
I've
old
never
after
played
a
it.
bit. If you
I've never
overplay
played
it,
it.
then yeah.
I've never played
That's
it.
why I'm saying
I've
like
never played it.
game
I've never
sequels.
played
There
it.
shouldn't be a sequel to Apples
I've
to
never
Installments.
played
They
it.
can
Apples.
make installments though,
I've
and like
never
new
played it.
cards and stuff like that.
I've never played it. I've
But
Oh
never
God.
played it.
But
I've never
I
played
honestly
it.
think we have covered
I've never
everything
played
that
it.
makes a good
I've
game.
never
A
played
link,
it.
please be quiet. But we've covered everything that makes a good game or a perfect game series.
we could go
Really, what
deeper.
it is.
I
Yeah,
feel it.
But
But we aren't.
it's been about 40 minutes now, and
That's the
I don't
size of a
think we can.
podcast. So
Because like with
Yeah,
Heavy
that's
Rain, like I was talking with my friend, he's a game designer, and I really respect his ideals about Heavy Rain, about how it's not really too much of a game and more like an
It's more
interactive
like a
like an
movie.
interactive movie. And also, have you guys heard of that one indie game? It's an indie game, but it's Dear like Ethel, or like it's Dear something.
Dear Anna.
Something like that. It's like you're walking on an island and stuff. And the problem that he said about it was that it was just that. It was just walking. Sure, like the story was good, but that's all it really had. It was more so of an interactive like audiobook.
I
And I think
think
like for the perfect game, it should have like Tenagara, and I'm pretty sure like by now everyone has brought up gameplay. And so gameplay should be a big, huge part of it. Now, I think puzzles are only can be temporarily because once you solve a puzzle, that's it. But then again, if you have, say, like for people to make their own puzzles, then you could have like new puzzles like every week, at least 100. Will they be easy?
Portal
Sure, but
2.
then exactly what I'm saying with Portal 2. Yes, exactly. That was what I was thinking of. But then you have first-person shooters. Now, what I think that makes first-person shooters so like what people like to play about them is just because you get to play against other people online. Now, like yeah, Call of Duty it gets extremely repetitive with a solo campaign because all the enemies are set like to be at this same exact spot. They are carrying all of the same weapons. You're going to be having the same weapons around that area. There's only like a set amount of things. You're boxed in. Your creativity is boxed in. And now with Borderlands, sure it's like it has the RPG. Sure you're not as boxed in, but with the characters, like there's only 4 characters that you can choose from. And now that's truly boxing in your creativity because if you only have 4 characters, like the only thing you could change about them is the color, and that's just palette swapping. Now, like really, now Borderlands is for the PS3. Palette swapping was being used on the Game Boy, was being used on the Super Nintendo, it was being used on things that had pixels. I mean, now I know Borderlands has pixels too, but also has polygons. That could be so much more. Now there's a new game coming out, Anarchy Reigns. Sure, it's the same as Borderlands, where there's only set characters, but there's so many characters. There are multiple characters, and they all are completely different from one another. And I'm just so freaking stoked to see how they all tie into one another. And I'm really excited about the multiplayer. Now, like that's something like really new that I'm pretty much saying. Excited about multiplayer because I usually like associate multiplayer stuff with Halo, Call of Duty, blah blah. Like that's pretty. That's what I'm saying. Blah blah blah. Because only Call of Duty and Halo, and that's all they really are. It's just multiplayer campaigns. But now with Anarchy Reigns, this game, like it's a fighting game, yes, but everyone has a different fighting style, and the voice actors, I'm excited for the voice actors, and then I go back with the music. The music in it is phenomenal. Now, it's like indie rap, but it's fucking catchy. It's
Hey
great. It's
Joe.
like in a fantasy world, and that's why I think it was really, and oh my god, the music really ties in well with the themes of the characters, and that also, not only do you have strong characters, you have strong characters, you have fitting voice actors, and you have fitting music. I mean, what else more could you possibly put in there to like really pop out these characters?
Guile's
Really,
theme.
really
Yo,
not much. You
Yo,
can't really
Joe,
put in
Joe,
wait,
Joe,
a
wait,
Joe,
whole lot.
Joe,
Now
Just-
that's
just-
why I
just-
Joe,
think
Joe,
that's
Joe,
not
Joe,
boxing
you
creativity.
guys-
If
you guys-
anything, the developers look like they're having fun with it, and they're just going wild
I'm
with
just gonna mute Joe
creativity.
here.
Now that's what I think will make a perfect game.
Wait,
Creativity.
he's recording his own
Okay.
audio though.
Alright, here, really fast. Let me go ahead, Joe. You really get into these things really deep.
We have
think
more
about this
episodes
I
though.
think
We're gonna have more episodes.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
we
I'm just going out on a limb here, but I'm pretty sure Joe doesn't like the customization in Borderlands. It's just a guess here.
I was thoroughly
Okay,
disappointed.
Well, really fast. I think since this is such a long video, that I think we should end it off and give a very basic description of what we've covered in this. That what would make the perfect game.
Can I do
Let's
it?
start off. No, we're all gonna do it. Like the perfect game has. I'll start. It has amazing music that fits along with the game.
It has customization and a satisfying ending.
It has style.
It has a great story with lovable characters and character development that you can kind of push your own personality onto the hero to be a hero yourself.
The gameplay has to be very good and has to have good handling,
The at
controls.
the atmosphere has to make you feel like you're actually in the game and not just feeling like I'm outside and playing a game in my room alone and only my boxers in a messy room with Gatorade everywhere.
There has to be strong
Price.
importance.
Um,
Hello? No, I'm sorry. There has to be strong importance to the actions that you're doing within the game so that you're not asking yourself, why am I doing this?
price, amount of content, and something else that I mentioned earlier that I forgot. It was something like around there.
Yeah, price and
Uh
content.
huh.
And that's really that's
If
Sequels
we
pretty good
too.
missed anything,
description.
leave a comment below. If you made it this far.
Yeah, if you
I'm probably just gonna edit a whole lot of this out.
well, you shouldn't edit it out. We should definitely live stream one of these one day and see how many
Wait, can
two
we end it?
viewers we get.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
think we should end it. If we missed anything, do what Joe said. Leave it down in the comments. What is your opinion of the best perfect game slash game series ever?
We will see you guys next time. And this has been Batman
Well,
RPs.
most of it.
See ya.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Good. See ya.